The sun was sinking below the horizon, stretching long shadows over the peaceful suburban street, as the familiar purr of Jake Carter's SUV rolled into the driveway. I'd been crashing at my daughter Emily's place with her husband for the summer, and with every day that passed, I found myself more drawn to Jake than I probably should have been. It was a tricky feeling, one I tried to shove aside, but his calm confidence and the way he moved made it tough to brush off. I was in the kitchen, gripping a wooden spoon and stirring a pot of chili I'd spent most of the afternoon whipping up. The warm, spicy smell filled the room, a cozy way to dodge the restless energy building inside me. The front door creaked open, and I turned to flash him a smile. "Jake, you're back," I said, keeping my tone light and easy. "Thought I'd cook up your favorite chili tonight." He arched an eyebrow, lingering in the doorway. "Emily's favorite, you mean?" he said with a soft correction, though his voice carried a faint edge. I waved it off, turning back to the stove. "Same difference, right? You both love it." Out of the corner of my eye, I caught the stiffness in his shoulders, the way he dodged, looking straight at me. I knew I rattled him, and part of me got a kick out of the sway I seemed to have. It wasn't about making him uneasy. I just wanted him to notice me, to feel that quiet vibe humming between us. "Where's Emily?" he asked, dropping his laptop bag on the counter. His tone was steady, but I could pick up the unease underneath. "She's stuck at work late," I replied, keeping my eyes on the chili like it needed my full focus. "Some big deadline, so it's just us for dinner tonight." The room went quiet, save for the soft simmering of the pot. I could sense him watching me, and I smiled to myself, a tangle of excitement and second-guessing twisting in my gut. I knew I was towing a risky line, but something about Jake pulled me in, daring me to test how far I could nudge things before he'd admit there was a spark. Over the next few weeks, I got a little bolder. I'd toss out casual remarks about his new haircut or how his jeans fit him just right, always finding excuses to hang around him. I could tell it got to him. His shoulders would tighten when I got close, and his eyes would linger on me when he thought I didn't notice. It was a tricky dance, one that could easily go sideways, but I couldn't pull myself away. One night, I found him in the living room, a magazine spread across his lap. Emily was out with friends, so I'd taken the chance to fix dinner for just the two of us. I handed him a glass of soda, my fingers grazing his for a beat longer than needed, then plopped down on the couch beside him, close enough to feel the tension. "Jake," I said, my voice low and steady, "I feel like you're keeping something in. What's up with that?" He took a sip of his drink, buying a second to think. I could see the tug-of-war in his eyes, the way he wrestled with whatever was going on inside. "What makes you think I'm holding back, Sarah?" he asked, his tone cautious. I leaned in a touch, dropping my voice. "This, us. You know there's something here, Jake. You can't pretend it's not there forever." He looked away, his jaw clenching. "Sarah, I don't know what you expect me to say." I reached out, resting a hand near him. "Just be real with yourself. With me." He took a deep breath, his eyes flicking to mine for a split second before darting off again. "I can't do this, Sarah," he said, firm but not harsh. "I'm sorry." I looked up at him, a mix of letdown and stubbornness bubbling inside. "You can't dodge it forever, Jake," I said quietly. "Sooner or later you'll have to deal with what's really there." He stood up, setting the glass on the coffee table, and I knew I'd pushed too far, but I also knew there was no backing off now. The messy knot of feelings had me hooked, and I was set on seeing it through no matter what. I could feel how strong the pull toward Jake was, and even though I knew it was risky territory, it was too hard to let go. I was caught up in something big, and even though I knew I should pull back, I couldn't fight the pull bringing us closer. One afternoon, Jake was working from home, his laptop open on the dining table. I was out by the pool soaking up the sun in a light sundress, sneaking looks at him through the glass door. His forehead was creased, deep in focus, and I could see the tightness in his posture. I gave him a little wave, motioning for him to come out. He paused, then shut his laptop and stepped outside. He settled onto the chair next to mine, and I reached over, resting a hand on his arm. "You look tense," I said, my voice warm with care. "Let me help you chill out." I slid behind him, my hands settling on his shoulders, kneading gently as the stiffness started to melt away. It seemed harmless enough, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. The feel of his strong frame under my fingers got my pulse racing. "Feels nice, huh?" I asked quietly, leaning in a bit. He nodded, eyes shut, saying nothing. I could see the push and pull on his face, the way he wrestled with himself. But I told myself to take it slow. He'd come around when he was ready. "Sarah?" he said all of a sudden, his voice rough, pulling away as his breath quickened. "We can't do this. Not here, not now." I smiled, masking my impatience. "Then where, Jake? When?" He stood up, his hands shaky with nerves and hesitation. "I don't know, I need some space to think." I nodded, watching him head back inside, leaving me by the pool. I knew I was pressing him, but I could tell he felt that same tug I did. It was just a waiting game until he'd admit it. One night, Emily was out of town for a work thing, and the house felt still, heavy with all the stuff we weren't saying. I found Jake in the living room, flipping through a magazine to distract himself. I sat down beside him in a comfy cotton robe that I knew looked good on me. I could feel his eyes flicker my way, the air thick between us. "Jake," I said, my voice soft but steady, "look at me." He hesitated, then met my gaze. I could see him trying to keep it together. I leaned closer, the connection practically buzzing. "Sarah," he whispered, his voice shaky, "we can't." I brushed a hand against him gently. "We can do whatever we want, Jake," I said. "It's just us here. No one's got to know." His eyes showed the battle inside, wanting me but staying true to Emily. I knew I was asking him to step over a line, to let down the woman he cared about. But I could see he was drawn to me too, in a way he couldn't shake off. I stood up, offering my hand. He paused, then took it, letting me guide him upstairs. My heart was pounding with excitement and a little worry, emotions hitting me all at once. I knew it wasn't right, but I couldn't ignore how I felt. I wanted him. Later, as we lay there in the soft glow of the room, a wave of feelings crashed over me. Guilt weighed heavy for what I'd done, for the mess I'd stirred up. There was nervousness too, about what might happen, how Emily could get hurt, and the fallout waiting down the road. But there was also this feeling like it was bound to happen, like we couldn't have stopped it. I glanced at Jake, his face a mirror of my own mixed-up emotions. Guilt, worry, doubt, but also that pull, that tie we couldn't ignore. "Don't feel bad about this, Jake," I said, my tone firm. "What's done is done. All we can do is keep going." He nodded, taking my hand. In that moment, I knew he was in it with me, for better or worse. We were too far gone to turn back. So we started this hidden thing between us, a rush but shaky, always watching out for Emily, always aware of the risks. We grabbed moments when we could, careful to keep up the act of everything being normal. It was a high-stakes move, one that could fall apart any second. But even with the guilt and the worry, I couldn't lie. I was happy. Really happy, for the first time in forever. I'd found something with Jake I never saw coming, something I'd fight to keep, no matter what. Still, even as I soaked up this new vibe, I knew time was running out. We'd have to face what we'd done eventually. I just didn't know when or how it'd all blow up.
This is an artistic and fictional creation intended for both entertainment and educational purposes. Any resemblance to actual people or events is purely coincidental. Some scenes and dialogues in the video are part of a dramatized performance and incorporate elements of grotesque, satire, and exaggeration. The creator stands against discrimination, violence, and hatred. This channel fully complies with YouTube's policies and does not infringe upon copyright laws.